Well, hello there. Welcome to another romp through the strange realm that we find ourselves in.
In this timeline, people remember details about the stoplight that doesn't exist. Red has always been on the top, but here's proof of the old timeline that collided with this one.
Early this morning, when you knocked on my door, early this morning,
In my timeline, green was always on the
when you
top.
knocked on my door, and I said, hello, Satan, I believe that it's time to go. Me and the devil.
Well, what do you remember? Was green on the top or was red on the top of the traffic lights? It looks like another Mandela effect, right? And, just looking at that, I remember green, but apparently red is on the top at the moment, which, kind of goes along with the agenda, right? Like we used to be go on the top, movement, go forward. And now it's stop at the top. But please let me know, what do you remember?
This device was banned by the Rockefellers in the 1800s, and this is a copper triskelion, and they would actually use this to ground their bodies and enhance the charge of their bodies in the 1800s because electrical beings. And so if you place this copper device onto the ground and you then hold it with your hand, the copper is then going to conduct the electrical charge and frequencies of the earth, which will then be transferred onto the individual, instantaneously healing that individual, which is another reason why people would line their shoes in the 1800s with metal components such as copper, brass and even silver, so that they were constantly grounded all day long, constantly elevating their frequency. But also this device was used to purify and even structure water, because the shape of this device is no coincidence. This shape actually holds its own frequency, and so when you place it in water, this frequency is then transferred to the water, creating some of the most structured water one can drink, alongside purifying it through copper's potent antibacterial properties, which is exactly why old swimming pools used copper instead of chlorine.
Well, that's interesting. I did not know that you could put them on the ground. I have a couple here. Got this one sitting on my desk, which I put my drinks on. Then I have this one. Can you see that? It's got orgonite. It's orgonite with a how do you say it? Triskelion in it. But yeah, I didn't know that you could put them in the ground. I'm going to have to give that one a go, I think, see if it charges me up. And grounding. I mean, we are electrical beings, right? We need to be grounded, just like electrics, right? If you don't ground them, they're very dangerous. So, without grounding ourselves, it's really messing with our electric field, our electric circuitry, if you want to call it that, right? We have electricity running through us. So grounding, and with the feet thing, like clearly, right, they've turned all shoes, the soles are now rubber, right, which is an insulator, which insulates us from the ground. It does the exact opposite to grounding. So you can actually buy like little brass plugs that you can put through your shoes now. Obviously, don't wear it in the rain, you might get wet feet, but all the soles of shoes used to be leather. And of course, the soles, right? The sole of your foot, right, is the bottom of your foot. That's where your soul connects with the earth. But let me know, do you have a triskelion? And have you tried this? Have you tried grounding it in the dirt and holding it and see what happens, and then putting it in water to structure it? Let me know in the comments.
Fast are you going at your top speed? It's interesting measuring speed in space. So, we use like air density and to determine Mach. So when we enter the atmosphere, will be going about Mach 25, 26, 25,000 miles per hour. 7 miles a second. Wow.
He said entering the atmosphere at 25,000 miles per hour, 7 miles a second. So what they tell us is that the atmosphere starts about 62 miles up, what they call the Kármán line. You understand too that they tell us asteroids that we can view from Earth also move at about 25,000 miles per hour. So this tiny little pod about 6 feet across enters the atmosphere only 62 miles up, moving the same speed as an asteroid, which by the way is the same speed as escape velocity, which is required to leave the atmosphere. So if they were coming in at that speed, only 62 miles up, they would hit the ground in about 8 seconds. Oh, but I forgot they had parachutes, because you'd be able to stop an asteroid with a couple of parachutes, right? Oh, and I also forgot you can film something 60 miles away that's going 25,000. I keep seeing people say, oh, well, the air actually slows them down to about 300 miles per hour. Okay, so even if we went with that dumbass logic, 25,000 miles per hour to 300 miles an hour in just a couple of seconds. Remember, it would have to happen in just a couple of seconds because you only even have 8 seconds before you're at the ground. So basically an e-brake from 25,000 with humans inside. That would be even more extreme than going 500 miles an hour directly into a brick wall. This is about 5,000 miles per hour. Think about 5 times faster than that.
7 miles a second.
7 miles a second. I guess that's around 10, 11 kilometers a second. That's pretty fast. And yeah, what was it? 9 seconds to, come from the upper atmosphere, into Earth's pressurized system to the ground. Yeah, he's got a lot of good points there, but to slow that speed down to 300 miles from 25,000, I mean, that would, you can imagine what would happen. All the astronauts would just be, bits bits of mushy stuff on the ceiling. Like seriously, that's physically impossible to my mind. But let me know, what are your thoughts? Do you think this is even possible? And obviously re-entering the atmosphere, you can't have a pressurized system next to a vacuum without a barrier. Again, it's basic physics. So do you think they even went to space? Because I definitely don't. I don't think space exists. There's space all around us, right? But it's not this magical thing above us full of balls rotating around, in my opinion. Well, that seems a lot more likely, right? The capsule being put out the back of an airplane, that is physically possible, because obviously that they're not doing 25,000 miles a second, right? And it's interesting that those photos are out there. I mean, I don't know. They look real. Are they AI? They could be. We don't know. But why would these pictures and these images, there was even some footage in there, be available to us in the public? Do you think they're trying to tell us, You know, do you think they're trying to tell us, look, this is all a scam? We're playing with you, and then they're showing us. And it may not be they. I think there's a good force, right? Like, we obviously, when we do all this research, you know, it's all bad, and we tend to sort of focus on, oh my God, you know, the Allies, they're so evil, and they do all this stuff, and control system and slavery and blah blah blah. But you know, are we taking the time to notice that there's a lot of good going on? There definitely seems to be a good vibration, right? A good frequency out there that is clearly showing us that this is all a game. This is all a charade. It's all the greatest show on earth, right? And since 2020, it's just getting more and more ridiculous, right? It really is. Look where we are. It's complete clown world out there. And I think that this is happening because something is trying to wake us up. Now, we all talk about this new earth and new world and getting free, but that's only going to happen when people understand that that's what they can do, that this is all a show, and they stop buying in to the outer world that's projected at them. That's the only time that we can go into this new earth. And so it looks like, in the bigger picture, something is trying to wake everyone up. You know, it's like, oh, really? You believe that? Well, let's do something more ridiculous. Oh my God, they believe that as well. Something more ridiculous. And they show us, they give us all the information. And when I say they, you know, I don't think it's the Allies. Maybe it is. But, you know, I always talk about perspective and how you can have different perspectives. And we need different perspectives to come to an actual conclusion that is ours and to really see the truth. If we've only got one perspective, we're being told something. So the question is, you know, all these Allies, all these things, are they there to wake us up? You know, are they actually helping us in the long run? Because they're showing us all this fakery, all this crap, getting us to believe all this fear. But in the end, all the information is out there to let us know it's all fake. And we really should be focusing on our inner world and creating from there, rather than focusing on the outer world, the simulated, you know, world. Because when we do that, we create what the simulation wants us to. What do you reckon? Let me know your thoughts on that one. And by the way, guys, don't believe anything I say. Don't believe anything you see or hear on the videos. It's all just information for entertainment purposes only, right, YouTube? This is all about coming to your own conclusion, getting information, and not judging things as right or wrong, good or bad. Just everything's just interesting until we get enough information to come to our own conclusion.
Infamous Chuck Clark UFO footage has just been released, okay, from Logan Paul. This has been seen for about 30 years, and it shows a glowing type disc object with people panicking inside. This is from the 90s. James Fox has said this is clearly degraded, but this is pretty much what I saw when it was about a week or two old. A long time ago, probably 30 years or close to it. Now, Bob Lazar has also said that this is pretty damn real, and he's convinced this is the real deal. And along with this, people have seen this object for many, many years, from the 90s, all before that. There's ones from Mexico from the 90s here, which shows the same sort of depiction. And there's another piece of footage which was released many years ago showing the same object as well. Listen to the sounds, the reflections on the dashboard, mate. This is pretty wild, bruv.
The dashboard, and you see something very clearly illuminating like the top of the dashboard, and they're like hunkered underneath the car, and they're whispering to each other like, I think it's out there, like I don't know what it is, maybe we should go out. And they're like kind of scared. Get down, keep quiet. The battery's going.
Then something appears just beyond the glass. The craft is hovering extremely close to the car. It's orange and slightly wobbling or undulating in place as if it's on a wave. You can hear the two guys whispering.
Look out there, Robin. Over there. Yeah, that to me is exactly how it was described by Bob. It's exactly like your hand did. Yeah, it's moving the right way. Yeah.
Well, I guess Logan Paul needs some more views. He's put out that video, and it's everywhere at the moment, right? But do you think that was a UFO, as in a solid spaceship from space aliens, or wherever, right? It just didn't look like a solid object to me, right? It looks like an orange light, could be projected, right? Part of Project Bluebeam, whatever. But you know that they put these things out, and that was from 30 years ago or so, or was it the 70s? You know, it was from a long time ago, right? And this to me just looks like they're building this narrative to get us to believe in space aliens. But again, like I said before, there's so much information out there telling us that, one, that's impossible because there is no space. You know, I mean, another point, you know, with all this UFO stuff is, you know, we're supposed to believe they can travel light years, right? Thousands of light years and get to Earth, and then they crash. I mean, that doesn't make sense. So it just looks like a big narrative that's being built to me, because we know there's been all this disclosure, you know, government disclosure, all this stuff. They're trying to build a narrative, in my opinion. But let me know your thoughts. And while I've got you guys, please, if you do like these videos, if you're enjoying it, please give me a like, share it around, hype it up, all that cool stuff, and make sure you subscribed.
I mean, he oversaw tens of millions of dollars of assets, equipment, some classified, some not. I mean, we don't know what was going on in this guy's head, right? The officials had said that he may have been a danger to himself. He was seen carrying a gun. And it sounds crazy, but between Garcia and General McCaslin, I have to wonder, and again, I know this sounds crazy, but it could be an option here. I mean, is the government doing this? Are they taking out their own people because of XYZ? And wait, I want to point something else out to you, Jesse.
I don't even want to
literally, I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll. But tomorrow, April 14th, that is when Rep. Anna Luna gave Pete Hegseth this deadline. She requested 46 UAP videos, and look, there's a good reason behind it. I mean, these videos she detailed in this filing, and they say, you know, Iran, XYZ date, you know, 2022, Syria, XYZ date, shaped like a cigar. You know, this is a matter of national security, and this is important because in real time, we don't know what's in the sky. We don't know if this is some kind of, you know, a UAP. We don't know if it's a drone. We don't know enough.
Are you getting any official word?
Well, she's right that we don't know. No, this is what it's all about, right? Confusion, because I think something wants us to make up our own mind about this and to stop being dictated to. But she was talking at the start there about there's all these high-ranking military officials, basically, and NASA people that have mysteriously disappeared or died in the last, you know, month or so. I think it's up to like 7 or something. But again, you know, that was on the mainstream news. So why is that being put out there? Why is that opinion of, is it the government? Don't trust the government being put out there? I think something else is talking to us. And if we can see through the show, the projected, you know, show that they're showing us, then I think we're going to be a lot closer to the truth.
This footage was captured by NASA. A small object enters from the right side of the screen and travels slowly across the curvature of the Earth. Initially, some thought this was just debris or a satellite, but as it reached the middle of the screen, it suddenly stops and seems to hover for a moment. The object remains stationary for several seconds. Then, without warning, it suddenly rises upward. After rising and then hovering again, the object suddenly moves off at high speed to the left of the screen.
Did that even look real to you? It just looked like a still photo. They put something in, you know, go NASA, right? It's like Space Mouse. Have you seen that video, Space Mouse, where they're showing that the booster rockets of, you know, some NASA rocket, and there's a mouse crawling around on it. It's supposed to be in outer space, you know, and these things, again, I think are put out there for those with eyes to see, for those asking real questions. You know, the answers are there if we just look. So, you know, back to the question from before is, Do you think that there is a good force out there, a malevolent force that is waking us up, trying to show us a reality of what's going on? And it's just these elites are just trying their best to bring in the simulated reality and get us to buy into that. Because that footage, I mean, that didn't even look like footage to me. And of course, the curvature of the Earth. There was a very, very slight curve in that edge of the Earth that they showed us, but that was in space. That was in space, they say. So if you go by the dimensions that we're given by science and NASA and all this, that curve should have been a lot more, right? It should have been a much bigger curve, right? That was almost a straight line. So they show us this stuff and it doesn't even match up with what they tell us. And again, I kind of think this is whatever, right? The universe, God, if you want to call it that, the ether, whatever you want to call it, talking to us and saying, guys, this is clearly fake. What they're telling you is lies. But what do you think?
Watch this.
The fuel shortage is affecting us all. To keep us moving, the government has been working to secure Australia's fuel supply and has a 4-level National Fuel Security Plan. We're now at level 2, and we all have a part to play. Together, simple actions can make our supply go further and save fuel for our truckies, farmers and essential services. Every little bit helps. For fuel-saving tips, visit fuelplan.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government.
That's the ad that costed taxpayers $20 million, urging us to use less fuel. Well, let's take a look at their suggestions. Take off our roof racks, not drive with the windows down and to turn down the aircon. Is this all a joke? Because apparently, according to the government, calling this crisis out for what it actually is, well, that now counts as misinformation. Meanwhile, essential food prices have surged anywhere from 10 to 40%, and we're supposed to believe everything is under control. And on top of this, Albo is travelling again to Asia to secure our normal fuel imports, whilst telling us to carpool. And well, he tries to convince people everything is fine. The only leverage that he has when appealing to countries in Asia to keep supplying us with fuel is that we're a major exporter of natural gas, the very same resource that he plans to use as a bridge to reach net zero targets by 2050, until we can use renewables and batteries and hydrogen. However, don't worry about the reality, and make sure when you're filling up your car, stop at the first click and don't use an extra 20 mils. So what do you guys think about this? Because to me, it feels like the government thinks we're a bunch of school kids who will just accept whatever we're
told. Accept whatever we're told. I mean, yes, the fuel crisis. Of course, in Australia, we had 2 major fuel refineries and one just happened to burn down a few days ago. I mean, you know, obvious much, but yeah, that was a $20 million ad campaign, and literally what the government were coming out and saying to us in all of their wisdom was to save fuel, take the roof racks off your car, drive with the windows up, don't use your air conditioning, right? In Australia, I mean, it's autumn here now, so it's not so hot. And stop filling your car up at the first click, like when it, you know, click. I mean, oh my God, does anyone believe this stuff? It's so ridiculous. Like, they are literally just taking the piss at this point.
Hi, I'm Pat, and I'm a dairy farmer. And today, I'm going to use all the helpful tips and tricks Anthony Albanese has given us in his new $20 million fuel supply campaign. I've just pumped up every single tyre on every bit of machinery on the farm, even the spare tyres on the ground. And wow, haven't the results been fantastic? Now that I'm not driving around on flat tyres, I'm not only saving money on the tyre wear, but I'm also saving diesel for myself because I'm a dairy farmer. We've been told to lighten the load to save diesel, so let's hop in the tractor and see what we can take out to lighten the load. A knife, an ear tag, and the seat. I'm not worried about travelling in comfort. I'm worried about Australia. Without spending $20 million on this ad campaign, I wouldn't have been able to access this valuable information, and I would have continued to drive around on flat tyres and on a seat. Thanks, Albo.
Thanks, Albo, and thanks, Pat, for enlightening us there. That's right, guys. If you have a bit of rubbish or a spare knife or something lying on the car, take it out, and you will be saving fuel for Australia, right? Do it for our future, our fuel future. I mean, and there's a lot of videos like this out there because it is so ridiculous. And yeah, like we heard in the first video, Albo, right, our Prime Minister, Albanese, flew on a plane to Indonesia, was it Malaysia, to secure our fuel supplies, right? By telling us all that to drive less, to take the roof racks off our cars, he's flying around in aeroplanes, burning thousands of liters of fuel. I mean, again, they're showing us.
They just did a controlled demolition in the United States, this building here. It cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I find it ridiculous because 2001 already proved that you can actually just light a few localized fires in the building. It'll fall at free fall speed, a lot like, in fact, it looks identical to a controlled demolition, just a few localized fires. And I mean, it is going to burn through hardened steel. It's going to burn through the concrete structure all evenly and just free fall. It's the new method. Wake up.
Well, he has a point. I mean, where are these building demolition people, and why aren't they using fire to burn through hardened steel? I mean, it's already been proven that it works.
So here we see this map says Israel. And if we zoom out a bit and look at some of these surrounding countries, we see Israel is surrounded by Muslims. There's the Arabian Peninsula, Egypt, Turkey, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan. There are all of these Muslims surrounding a Jewish state. How did that happen? Well, that's because in the middle of all of these Muslim nations existing, within the last century, Jews from outside of this region, Jews from Europe, from America, from all over the world, have been flooding this area. Now, of course, Palestinians were already living there. So the world has watched Israel take land from the Palestinians year after year. And the reality is their goal is not just to exist, but they want to expand to greater Israel, as we see this red border represents. Now, this not only includes Palestine, it includes Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Egypt. But wait a second, how can that happen? Well, one way they've been moving in this direction is because they are backed by the United States. Wait a second, but where is the United States? It's all the way on the other side of the globe. Now, American citizens have been increasingly demanding that their government focus on putting America first. We're tired of these wars on the other side of the globe. And let's think about those wars for a moment. If we go back to the state of Israel, if it wants to keep expanding and then taking all this other land in the region for greater Israel, well, one thing they need to do is weaken Iraq. Well, how convenient. The U.S. invaded Iraq and essentially destroyed the country under false pretenses. Next to Iraq, we have Iran. For decades, Israel has been trying to get the U.S. to go to war with Iran. Well, what do you know? Donald Trump, who proclaimed we would not start any new wars, has started a new war in Iran. And Marco Rubio slipped up and admitted that this was done ultimately for Israel. Now, what do we find Israel doing? After they heartlessly destroyed Gaza, now they are moving into southern Lebanon. So not only is Israel able to do these things because of U.S. backing, because of the U.S. doing much of its bidding, but also this is why you see so much extreme Islamophobia. Because if you fear all of these Muslims that surround Israel, then you won't care when Israel, for example, carries out a genocide against them, or bombs them, or invades them. In fact, they may even convince you and your children to go and fight wars against these Muslims that they have demonized. So while Muslims are maybe 1% of the U.S. population, and the Muslims by and large live on the other side of the globe in comparison to America, this is just one of the reasons why Americans are constantly bombarded with Islamophobia. So hopefully now many of you can understand why the U.S. is always involved in some sort of war on this side of the globe, rather than focusing on our own country, and also why Muslims are disproportionately demonized. Because rather than put America first, there are lots of people that want to help establish greater Israel.
Well, wouldn't Israel have to be great to start with to be able to be greater? But he's got a very good point there. A very good point. Like Israel is surrounded by Islamic countries, and it is clearly trying to take over the region and create this Israeli superstate. So what better way to do that and to get people, into the mindset that they will go and fight a war than to demonize the whole religion, the whole culture. And we have definitely been seeing that. And it's definitely tied to the mass migration that's been going on. And I'm in Australia. It's definitely happening, but how bad it is, I can't, it's an edge, right? I can't prove. I haven't been to all these countries, but there's definitely a lot of videos out there on it. But it's all to put our mindset that Islamic people are bad, and Islam as a religion is bad. The culture is bad, right? We hear all this stuff about Sharia law and all this stuff that's apparently going on. But then if you actually see videos, talking to the people of these countries, they're just like you and me. They're just men and women. They're just normal people. They don't want to go out and start wars and all this kind of stuff. All of that rhetoric comes from the mainstream news. And of course, it's not the Jews, it's not the Israelis, it's the Zionists. It's the control system of the Jews of Israel, the ones who are making the decisions and are in the ruling positions. They are all Zionist Ashkenazi Jews. If you don't know what that is, go do some research on it.
You don't have to be the bad guy. You are the most talented, most interesting, and most extraordinary person in the universe. And you are capable of amazing things because you are this special. And so am I. And so is everyone. The prophecy is made up, but it's also true. It's about all of us. Right now, it's about you. And you still can change everything.
Just be kind. We have the power, and that's who we are as men and women of Earth. We are kind. We don't want to start wars. We don't want to hurt people. We don't want to put people in lack and poverty. And we can change it by just being kind.
I don't believe in evolution, I don't believe in religion, and I don't believe in simulation theory. I don't believe in globe earth, and I don't believe in flat earth. I don't believe in the Bible, and I don't believe in our history books. I don't believe in dinosaurs, and I don't believe in aliens. I don't believe in God, and I don't believe in the Big Bang Theory. All of these things are different psyops. Each one of these exists to cater to different types of people. These are all controlled theories that oppose each other. For the people that don't believe in any sort of religion, they're going to turn to science. And for the people that oppose science, they're going to turn to simulation theory. These theories are presented to us so that no matter what type of person you are, eventually you land on one of these and you stop asking questions and looking for real answers. They don't care if you think the earth is a globe or if it's flat, because it's still leading you away from the actual truth. There's a reason why you're allowed to talk about flat earth on here. If it was something they didn't want people to be aware of, you wouldn't be aware of it. You're only aware of what they intentionally make you aware of. Not only are all these things distracting you from real truth and knowledge, but it's dividing everyone at the same time. Evolution is reinforced by science. Flat Earth is reinforced by the Bible. So each different individual and mindset believes that they have the real truth, when in reality, none of us are correct. And the real truth behind our reality is hidden, and I don't believe we possess a necessary ability that would even allow us to perceive the reasoning behind our existence. They've made each person feel comfortable in feeling as if they know. Once you're comfortable enough with reality, then you become obedient. This is how they control you.
What do you believe in? I mean, there's so many things, and he went through them all. And most of these concepts that we're given are so fake. They're so provably wrong with just a little bit of research, not a lot. But like you said, they want people to believe in things, like believe. And see, once you believe, then you have judged something as right or wrong. And once you judge something as right or wrong, you're stuck. All right. If something is right and you know it's right, well, you can't research it anymore. You can't get a different perspective because you know the truth. And like he said, this happens everywhere. And it's all the simulation, in my opinion, right? That they're trying to bring in this simulated reality that we're shown all across social media, We're programmed within with education systems, you know, all the music, all the stuff, right? It's to get us to buy into one of their stories. And as soon as we do that and we're like, I've got the truth, I know the truth, then we are so stuck and so stuffed because we cannot move. And the first thing we need to understand is that we don't know. Like, if you cannot be wrong, if you cannot allow yourself to be wrong and change your opinion, again, you are stuck. You're stuck and you are controlled, right? And that's what this is all about. But again, with all of these things, all of these psyops, there's so much truth if you just lift the first layer off. If you don't judge, this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad. If everything is just interesting, then you can keep digging and you will get more information and you will come to your own conclusion. And it needs to be your own conclusion because we all live in our own little world, right? As they say. And so what is true for someone else isn't necessarily true for you. But this is what they want us to do, focus on the outside world. What's everyone else saying? What's the collective mind saying? What's the news saying? But it has no effect on you at all if you come from your inner self and you're looking through your own perspective. And that's really what this channel is all about. You know, broadening our horizons, getting different perspectives and coming to our own conclusions. But there you go, guys. That's another one done and dusted. Hope you enjoyed that one. Hope you got something out of it. Please do leave me your comments on what you think of the video, of the individual videos. What do you think about what I say? Because I could be wrong, right? And I'm no doubt I am on some of these parts because it's a journey. It's a journey, right? We shouldn't go through life trying to get to the end point, right? As if we know everything right now. We have to know everything or else we're somehow lacking something, right? This is a concept put up by the education system. And, you know, people with degrees, right? They know because they got told something by someone else outside of them. I mean, when you really start to think about this, it makes no sense at all. It's really quite retarded. But yes, this is the whole purpose, to give you some more information to hopefully get you to ask some better questions and ultimately come to your own conclusion. But please, if you enjoyed this video, do give me a like, share it around, boost it up and all that good stuff. And of course, if you're not subscribed, what the bloody hell are you doing? Hit the subscribe button, join the family. And if you hit the bell, you'll be notified of all upcoming videos. And most of all, stay open-minded and stay autodidactic and use your amazing power as a man or woman to create the world that we all want. And I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.